Yeah, one of the things in the video, Alice, that Nkosi mentioned, I think it's worth going into here. He said a talus, so maybe we can take a look. Nkosi said that what is seeing doesn't have a gender. It's not male or female.
He also said that what's seeing isn't a seer. There is no seer. He actually, there's a line towards the end where he says, it's formless eyes looking at nothing.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming. I mean, that really is, Nkosi, for me, he just brings it right. There's just nothing left.
Michael, I want to make sure you got this is good news too, that you and Nkosi got the email about Hale and wanting to interview him. You got it? Okay, good.
Yeah, I got a copy, thanks.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this because, we do tend to, because of conditioning in society, believe that we're a man or a woman, that we're our body. And there's this very strong identification that's it just feels rock solid. It's not even question. It's just, well, no, I'm a woman or I'm a man. But Nkosi points out the seeing, what's aware of these words. Does that have any form?
In that segment, he said, there is no wow. Like what is seeing, there is no wow. And of course, there's no wow because there's no expectation. There's no concepts. There's no, oh, it's supposed to be like this, or I'm like this, and that's like this. And there's nothing like that. It was like, there's no wow. I mean, and yeah, like, not that that is boring in any way. It's the full emptiness again. But gosh, I just was really touched by that. Yeah. No, wow.
Did you say something about the course? Did I misunderstand, Maureen?
I'm sorry, which question, Alice?
I thought when you were talking, you said something about the course. Was I misunderstanding?
Just then, you mean? Yes. Well, right then, what he was saying in the context of there's no man, there's no woman, there's no race, there's no, he also, when he kept talking about seeing, he said there's no wow. It's not like you're looking out and like, you're blown away by one thing or another. It isn't like that. It's all one. It's complete integration. And there's nothing personal that's having the experience of seeing. I mean, it's so confounding to the mind. I just so appreciate that. Yes. I can almost see smoke coming out of my ears.
Yeah.
So I'll share one thing, although I don't recommend doing this while you're driving, even though I seem to, is notice that you actually never move. So that's, I think, worth going into, spending some time and on noticing that the scenery changes, the body moves, but the experience here is that what I am at center never goes anywhere, never unlocatable. I can't find my. So we're talking about that which has no location. Now that's not a me, right? Because a me has a location. Has to. Or I mean, I need a place to set up my story, my shop. But if Nkosi's to be believed, then, and not even believed, that's not even the right word, but he's saying formless, empty, spacious. That's your identity, not our thoughts or our feelings, which come and go. And yeah, the post I put was, this is movement that never moves. Because it does seem like there's movement, right? You can't deny it, right? I drove to work today. Was on the freeway. It was beautiful. Sky, everything was brilliantly lit up. It's gorgeous. But I noticed from wherever I was at zero, there's just nothing there. Or as Nkosi says, or I'm kind of paraphrasing one of his things, kind of putting two together, but a thought is not evidence that there's a separate self inside the body. Or feeling is not evidence that there's an actual separate entity in the body. It's just what it is. It's just a feeling. So there can be something inside you that lights up. Like Nkosi mentioned, for me, he'll talk about undisturbed silence. I don't know, that's just sexy to me. Undisturbed silence, wow. Like I'm curious about it, you know? I want to know more. What is this undisturbed silence you speak of? So then I look here in my own experience, yeah? I mean, where else? So you have to look in your own experience right now, no other time. So that's why I'm not interested in awakening stories. I'm really not, because there's just this, there's just now. Yeah, Maureen knows, she's tried to get one out, but It's just that it's ever present. That's really my only interest.
I don't get what's going on between you two. I don't have to.
Yeah, I don't know, Maureen, why are we laughing?
Because it's funny. For no reason.
That is great. Yeah, that's another one, right? For no reason. So the me can't handle that. I was thinking about that today, that life has meaning. Life has meaning. It has to, for all the work I've put in, for all my efforts. It has to be for some, don't tell me it's for nothing. Right? So that's why the me can't hear that life is meaningless, but not in like a pessimistic way. It's closer would be neither meaning nor no meaning. So as always, this is an open meeting. Everybody's invited to participate. So if you have a comment or a question or anything, feel free to unmute and jump in.
So the me has to find value in something, right? Or it can't function.
Well, if nothing means anything except as a thought, right? Without the thought that says like, have you ever had something that you really valued and then like, 10 years later, you end up like throwing it away or something? It just, the value is, it changes, it fluctuates. It's by, same with size. Size is by comparison, right? If I say, well, gee, they live in a big house, but compared to what? Compared to, the Empire State Building? I mean, you know what I'm saying? So everything's relative in the world. It's dualistic. So it's in relation to something else. So what we're talking about at this meeting is not in relation to anything.
This confounds the mind too, but meaning and purpose, there's always the implication that something has to happen.
Yeah, because as a me, Maureen, I'm living in that space of separation. So something damn well better happen to get me out of this mess.
I think that's so true. But I tend to identify as a me almost like all the time. And I love these things we're talking about. I love spending time with Nkosi and you guys and everything. But like I had a meeting last night with 37 people and I was talking about a very sensitive issue and I got very scared before the meeting. And Nkosi has let me know what times he's available and I could pick up my cell phone and do FaceTime with him. And I talked to him about a half an hour, but because of the intensity of where I was at with my fear, etc., and then him coming, it was absolutely just incredible. And sometimes when I'm alone with that type of emotion or things, I don't know how to break free of it by myself. I just need that coming at me, and even watching something on the video doesn't really help. I just have to have that very intimate sharing and then have the response. So I guess I just wanted to share that has been just so incredibly helpful, and he's just so available. I do PayPal him, but what he gives is just amazing. And his availability when I really need those moments is so critical for me. And I just wanted to share what might be helpful to others as well. In addition to all of these things we're doing and watching you guys' video 3 times.
Yeah, I love watching the videos with you and Nkosi because he's really good about stopping, after he'll let you tell your story and then he'll have you look for it.
Yes. Yeah. And that happens hundreds of times over again.
Yeah, what the heck? But the thing is, it's always available now. I want to really emphasize that, is that the only time to ever look is now. So that's why I would say forget the past. Don't. The habit is to go to the thought, to the past. I'm saying if you can, just stay here. Just check what's already the case prior to thought.
You can't even leave here.
I kind of think of it as time and future and past as a ping pong game going on in your brain.
Yeah, it's just the it's just imagination.
Yeah. It's imagination.
Well, because this never goes anywhere. So the only way you could have the illusion of going somewhere is in imagination. But it can be convincing. That's not a small thing. I don't know. I don't know if I've told this story before, but 1 second. I was once in a gas station car wash. And it's one of those ones where you drive the car in yourself. And as I'm entering in, they said, put on your brake. And suddenly I felt like I was moving, like my car was moving. Now, what it was the brushes and the soap oh my God, I jammed my foot on the emergency brake so hard and so fast, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. Because for a split second, I felt like the car was moving. And then I started laughing because I realized I'd been tricked. I hadn't moved at all, but the illusion was so perfect of the soap and the brushes and things moving. So that's often what I feel like when I'm driving, is if you notice, if you're driving, let's say on the freeway, and I noticed like today, the things as I passed by them disappeared from my view. So the oncoming traffic, I could see oncoming traffic, and then they kind of were in my peripheral, and then whoosh, they were gone. Now there was just this scene. So that's something else that we don't tend to notice, is we tend to assume that, no, the cars are still there and they're still driving and they're there. Well, look at your direct experience. There's just what's appearing. That's your direct experience. There's just what's happening in this space, this.
Hi, Nkosi.
Hello, Alice. Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
Michael-Nkosi.
Hi.
We've been talking about your words and how meaningful they have been to us, to me, to us. We were talking about the video that you, Michael, and Maureen made. And it's been a wonderful discussion and just nice to have you here.
You're always welcome.
I like your car wash story, Michael.
It was because it was so real. That's what sold it. It like the magician fooled me, and because the proof was my foot almost went through the floor of the car, and then that Alice, that moment when I realized I had been pranked, like it was all an illusion. I hadn't gone anywhere.
I laughed because I've had that experience as well.
Yeah, so you can notice that this never moves, and it's really, often Nkosi will say to you, Alice, in your sessions, well, just be with me. Let's just be here together and forget thoughts, forget the past. We'll just be here together.
Yeah, it doesn't really move. Even what seems to be the movement is no movement at all. It's just this appearing as a movement, but there's no real movement. Talking may appear in it, anything may appear in it. And this isn't waiting for anything special to happen, for it to be what it is, for it to be what it is. It doesn't have any expectations. It's just seeing, and there is nobody in it. And nothing is seen. There's no body attached to it. It's just spacious and empty. There's no mind attached to it. It's just here without any efforts, without trying to be here. It's already here. It's just this. It's not a human being. It's not a man or a woman. It can never really be pointed to. Because even what seems to be the one who's pointing to it is already it. So what seems to be thinking is already it, already. There's nothing outside of it. There's nobody outside of it. It's not even in it. It can never really be known, can never really be seen, can never really be understood. And what seems to be searching right now, looking, wondering, is already it. There's nothing apart from it. There's no you apart from it. It may appear as an argument. Somebody may disagree. That's it too. Somebody may agree. That's it too. Somebody may seem to have a suggestion. That's already it. It's already nameless, formless, and empty of any content. The story is already it. Everything is it. Different sounds, objects, or what seems to be objects, waiting, wondering, not getting it, getting it. So here it is seen as just a play, because there's no separation. There's no real separation. There are no people here. There are no human beings. And this right here doesn't know anything, doesn't claim to have great knowledge about the universe, about the world. It sees no world. It sees itself as nothing. It's already nothing talking, nothing seeking, nothing waiting, nothing expecting. It's the same as your example, Michael. It dreams itself as somebody. It dreams itself as a man or a woman trying to find its own self. Then it recognizes that it has never been anything else but itself. What a joke. If I may say, you are not a person already, even in the midst of even having that sense of being a person, you are not. There's just this. And this is not talking to anybody because there is nobody here. So it feels free to say anything. It doesn't really mind. Because every talking happening, every thinking is already it. There's nothing apart from it. It doesn't mind itself. If there's an imagination that seems to arise that Nkosi is talking, that's okay too. It doesn't really mind. But there's no real Nkosi here. There's nothing here. It doesn't try to get rid of the me because it sees no me. It doesn't see the other. So here, there's no waiting. There's no trying. There's no doing. There's simply this. And this is nothing that seems to appear as everything. Yet everything is nothing. Everything is already nameless. Everything is already empty. And all these bodies are empty already. So it doesn't really matter that the body may drop, but there is already nobody in it. The dropping of the body doesn't mean anything. There's no death. There's no birth. It's just this. And this is not moving. It never moves. It doesn't have any race, doesn't have any culture, it doesn't have any gender, agenda. Separation is imagined. There's no real separation. The you who's separate is imagined. There's no real you who's separate from this. So the separate self can never really collapse because the separate self is already not there. There could be just a recognition that it was never there in the first place. And that recognition doesn't belong to anyone. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and Nkosi, you mentioned about how the seeing doesn't have a gender. is not a male or a female. Well, you can just look at a baby. The baby's seeing quite nicely, but it's not thinking of itself as a boy or a girl, not yet.
Good example.
And when I look at a baby many times, I don't know if it's a boy or girl either.
Mhm.
So in a way, you can say that's proof that, and this is a story, but that it's learned. Because all of us as babies didn't have any ideas about anything.
And Nkosi, now sometimes it'll just come up the phrase, "This doesn't mind." it's, it's just lovely, like those words, "This doesn't mind." It's so gentle, loving. Yeah. Thank you.
Undivided means there's nowhere to get to. Yeah, I have to say, the first time I heard Nkosi say, "All is this," there was just something about it that resonated very deeply here. It's like something inside me went, "Of course, all is this." whatever it looks like, pain, pleasure, depression, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I didn't hear that from Nkosi, but when I heard that too, this message, that was stunning. Just a complete whack. It's everything. It's everything. And I've been trying to push it away. And Kosi, I just want to say I love your accent. It's gorgeous for these Western ears or whatever. I take djembe drum lessons from a guy from Cote d'Ivoire. That's what the western coast of Africa. Or you're somewhere in Africa, right? I
Oh,
can't hear you.
You're muted.
South Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah,
Oh,
South Africa.
yeah. Yeah. So I just hear your voice. I just love listening to your voice. Thanks.
Thank you.
I discovered Michael when it was not yet this. At the time, it was it. And it has evolved since to this, and yet it's the same.
Yeah, as Nkosi says, quite often, any word will do. You can pick your favorite word. It doesn't matter. And there really is a freedom to that when you see how much squabbling people appear to do over words. When the emptiness and the inherent meaninglessness of all words equally is so liberating in and of itself.
Each word seems to be the seed for a story. You know, it's like it and this would be defined as a seed for no story. Or, you know, I'm starting to get really clear on what a story is and what this is.
I was talking to a friend a few days ago, and she said something about she said something like, well, we must honor the relative. And I think there would have been times when I thought I knew what she was talking about. And then there would have been times where I wanted to know what she was talking about. And then this time it was just a blank. It was just a blank. it was a fine thing that she said, and nothing needed to happen. It was just lovely. Yeah. Yeah. Language.
Yeah, maybe to close us out tonight, Nkosi, you could say a few words about undisturbed silence.
Yeah, there is already undisturbed silence. It's not the kind of silence that needs everybody to be quiet or need noise to stop for it to be itself. It's just there. It's undisturbed. You know, it's there in the midst of a busy traffic, busy streets, cars hooting, people going around. It's just there. In a way, it's aliveness. It's that aliveness that is everywhere present. And because of it, everything seems to be alive. It's bubbling with life. You know, it's just there. The dust seems to be alive. Everything, the tree, the stones, everything, the sky, clouds. It's, you know, yeah, undisturbed silence. You can call it spaciousness, boundless energy. Words don't really matter. Words are seen as just concepts. This is wordless. No word can change this. No word can touch this. So there's already that undisturbed silence everywhere. And that undisturbed silence, it's what you really are. You are that already. You're not a human being. You're not a man or a woman. You're not a biological being. There's just formlessness and emptiness here, which you can also call it undisturbed silence. And it doesn't belong to anyone. And it's everywhere present. So this undisturbed silence is just there in the midst of argument, in the midst of quarrels, in the midst of world war, in the midst of tornado happening, hurricane. It's just there. It's undisturbed. It doesn't really move. It doesn't really go away. it's already deathless, bedless, ageless, and storyless.
Nkosi, would you say that it has no qualities?
It has no qualities, but what seems to be qualities may seem to appear. Anything may appear in it, you know, as it, because there is no separation. Because right now here, everything is seen as just this. Because names or what seems to be labels, they're just imaginary. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Beyond even the word beautiful. It is no thing appearing as everything. As I always say, words don't matter. Words can't touch this. Words can't change this because there's only this. So there's nobody who knows about this. There's nobody who is a guru. There's just this. There are no gurus. There are no teachers. It's just this. Everything is this already. Yeah, that's it.
Beautiful. There's already no you already.
Yes.
Any last comments or questions before we close out this evening? Thank you, everybody. Each and
Thanks,
every one of
everybody.
you so much for coming. We love and appreciate all of you. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Night, good
Bye.
day.